Hello everyone, welcome back to the football story. Woodsy reposted the stream. Thank you very much, Woodsy. I hope you are all well. There is a lot of news to cover right now. And one of the things I'm hoping for is that Kerkez is announced while we're live on stream. I'm hoping that he's maybe announced around 5 o'clock UK time. And yeah, if he is, then we'll obviously talk about it. But we have a few things to talk about, and we're going to talk about that today. NRL, thank you for the repost. Anyone else that's joining in, thank you for reposting the stream. These are all very welcome. Anyone over on YouTube, these are all very welcome. Whether you're in the football story or the Anything Liverpool community, welcome, welcome, welcome. So, what do we have to talk about? We do have a bit to talk about. So, talking points that are going to be today. Milos Kerkez is close. We obviously know that, as I said there, but we could potentially get him live on the stream. Guehi, the deal Liverpool are potentially looking at after selling Kwanzaa. Konate's contract offer was apparently declined earlier today. We have to talk about that. Isak interest. Liverpool have potentially cooled their interest for now. Nunez to Napoli. KDB to Liverpool. And then Frimpong's interview, which was earlier this week. Do I own anything Liverpool? I do not. I do not own anything Liverpool. But get your comments in. Let me know what you're thinking. And yeah, we'll go from there. But no, I do not own anything Liverpool. So, first up, Milos Kerkez can be considered a new Liverpool player. How are we feeling about it? I think I'm going to talk about a few of the stats there now in a second, but I think it was an area Liverpool had to strengthen. I think if we think about Robertson, who definitely had a good year this year, I think he's definitely someone that's probably on the decline. Obviously, Atletico Madrid are being potentially interested in getting him in the door, and I wouldn't want to lose him. But I do think bringing in Kerkez is a really good option for Liverpool right now. I think he's going to be our most expensive fullback ever at around £40 million. So it is a lot of money, but you're hoping that he can come in and do the job straight away. And obviously, he was nominated for a Young Player of the Year this year. So I think he has the quality there to be able to come in straight away and have a big impact. And if we look at some of his numbers, so... yeah, you can see there 85th percentile for progressive carries, 85th percentile for crosses into the box, 85th percentile for carries into the final third, and 33.3% tackle during take on, so 94% for that. So you can just see, like, you're getting one of the best fullbacks in the country coming to Liverpool. And with Frimpong on the other side, we'll talk about a little bit like him later on. It obviously is a good move for Liverpool to be able to go out and spend that money, and I feel like they need that to be obviously to come in and to fill that gap. So, let me just read a few of the comments. Mate, do you like my promo pick? Kitty, yeah, it's beautiful, mate. Do you think Robertson will go to Atletico Madrid? I don't know. I'm a bit on the fence with this one. I think, should he go to Real Madrid? No, I don't think Liverpool will be smart to let him go. For 8 million as well is what they're talking about, or even for free is what maybe Atletico Madrid want him for. And I just don't think that would make sense from Liverpool's point of view. I think Tsimikas has come out and said that he is happy with like staying at Liverpool. He doesn't really feel like going somewhere else and getting, say, 40 games a season. He's happy over the last few seasons. He's averaged 25 to 30 games, and he's happy with that. So I think, to be honest, if I don't think we should sell Robertson. I'd rather sell Tsimikas and bring in Kerkez, and then you kind of have Robertson and Kerkez buying it out for the first team spot. Because I don't think, like, we obviously expect Kerkez to come in and hit the ground running straight away, but like it takes a little bit of time to adapt. You know what I mean? So yeah, we have to obviously be careful what we want to do. But let me just read another comment. We need to get a world-class striker to complement flow. We can't buy a world-class 10, then just get a bag average striker. We need to get Isak or Ekatike. Yeah, we'll be talking a little bit about Ekatike later on. Isak later on. But yeah, I think Kerkez coming in. Hopefully we get an announcement now in the next kind of 20 to 30 minutes. That would be ideal. But we move on to the next one. So Marc Guehi has obviously being talked about coming to Liverpool. He's in the last year of his contract. And yeah, I think he's a competent centre back. I did a video with Transfer News Live there earlier on this week, and I maybe touched on it a little bit. He definitely is one of the best centre backs in the league right now. And with Liverpool selling Kwanzaa, they have the funds there to be able to go out and buy someone like Guehi. And I think it would be a good option. You know what I mean? It would be a good option from Liverpool's point of view to be able to go out and get him into the team. I think Crystal Palace right now are probably holding out for a little bit more money, but I think the more the transfer window goes on, I think the more likely that they are going to sell. I think Guehi, it seems he's like happy out whether he stays or goes. And I just think it's a good market opportunity for Liverpool right now. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what way they do it. And I just have something here. So yeah, Davo Kopp was saying Liverpool trying to get Marc Guehi for 30 million. So obviously, yeah, Crystal Palace are holding out for a little bit more. They're under pressure to sell him because he's in the last year of his contract. So similar to what's going on with Liverpool and Konate, where they maybe are under pressure not to sell Konate because I don't think they need to, but yeah, you obviously don't want to lose a player of such big quality for no money. Do you know what I mean? Isak on 120k a week at Newcastle, value him at 150 million in the market. LFC told his agent we will offer him 270k a week. And to be honest, if you're Isak, you're 26, this is the time to step up, win a lot more than staying at that tin pot. I wouldn't say Newcastle are tin pot. I think they're on a good trajectory, but yeah, if he wants to maybe, he can't really wait around for him to maybe to go on and win, say, Premier Leagues or Champions Leagues. He need to move to a team in the next kind of 2 years. You're going to say this season, next season needs to be like if he wants to go, and where teams will obviously have interest in him. But with Guehi, then the thing with him, and I did a video on this recently. I was talking about Konate. So the Konate situation is a bit worrying. So Liverpool have offered him 200k, or no, they haven't offered him 200k a week. He wants 200k a week, but the problem being is Liverpool's structure of the deal is not something that he's happy with. So you can see here, like, so Saliba's on 190k a week, De Ligt's on 190k a week, Maguire 190, and Stones 250. So I think Liverpool, the way Liverpool structure deals is they do it based on performances. So you get a lot of performances bonuses. So Liverpool's contracts can actually be quite big, but in terms of like just weekly salary, it's they're not going to be one of the biggest in the in European terms. So like they're not going to be offering the same as like say Man City, even Man United offer more wages in terms of weekly wages than Liverpool, and that's just because of how Liverpool's structure is. They obviously want players to perform, and they get rewarded handsomely for performing. But yeah, I think the Konate situation is a little bit worrying because if he doesn't sign a contract, and it seems Liverpool are happy enough to go in and go into the season with him not signing the contract and potentially lose him on a free next year. But there is obviously rumors that Real Madrid are going to be interested in him. And personally, I don't want to lose him on a free. I don't want the same thing happening with Trent in this case. Dublin Games, how are you, brother? What's up? Good afternoon. I would like Brathwaite. I don't know if Brathwaite, I think, is he good enough to come in? And would Everton even do a deal with us? I don't know. If we get Isak, we are going for a quad. It's very doable because Isak would be a final piece of Slot's super team. The attack, midfield, and defense would all be terrifying. Yeah, I agree. I think if we get Isak, then we're in the money. But it seems like we're a bit far away at the minute. But I did a poll just on Konate. So you can see here over on the YouTube channel. So 5,000 votes. And it's more or less split. So 1 year left on his contract. No signs of an agreement as of yet. Should Liverpool be cashing in on him this summer? 52% saying, and leaning towards 52%, that we shouldn't, and we should be keeping him because he's too valuable to the team. And I think that does make sense. But then obviously the other side of it, it's just 50-50 more or less. Do you know what I mean? I think with the World Cup up next year, I don't think Liverpool should. It's such a tricky one. I don't think Liverpool should be panicking too much, but I still think you should be kind of pushing them towards signing the contract now. And if he doesn't, you could bring in someone like Guehi who's going to be able to compete with him and say, listen, we're going to have Guehi as well. We don't mind losing you, but like you might not have your starting place in the in the lineup if you don't sign a contract, because I obviously think that I just don't want the same thing to happen the same way we did with Trent. I don't want us to weaken the squad either, because I think Konate is probably a better player than Guehi, but at the same time, like, you want to make sure you're making money in these types of areas. Like, we bought him from Leipzig a few years ago for around 35 million, I think it was. And if you can sell him this year for 60, 70, after you just sold Kwanzaa for 40, then you're making some good change. And then you're bringing Guehi and then maybe another one to obviously replace the two centre-backs that you've lost. Konate, we must sell him now, because we can't be seen. Can seen you leave LFC on a free. Trent should not put us in this light. This happens at LFC. Yeah, no, I don't want it to continue happening. I think we have to put down a marker, I would say, at this point, to be completely honest. But then, we'll come on to then Alexander Isak. So the situation is, it's a bit up in the air. So Ornstein has said Liverpool have obviously been interested in him, and there's obviously well documented around Liverpool's interest in Isak and Ekitike. But as things currently stand, there's no significant things in motion. Now, I think there's probably a couple of reasons for that. I would say Liverpool are looking to get a few more players out. You think of the likes of Elliott and Nunez. If they were to sell them, then I think that's where we might make a move for Ekitike. And I think that's probably the most likely option right now. We had to re-sign Konate. Yeah, I think we have to re-sign Konate. I will be giving him the 200k he wants, to be honest. What time do you think Kerkez announcement bingo? I think that Kerkez announcement should be about 5 o'clock. Chuck in 120 million and Jota. The rumor is 100 million plus Jota. Yeah, I think a deal from anything Liverpool threw that up, a spanner in the works. But I don't think that's true. I don't think Liverpool are going to go and throw Jota into the mix. But I don't know. Maybe Newcastle want someone. But do you really think Jota is worth, like, what? What would Jota be worth in today's market? He's 28, 29. Like, I wouldn't. I'd say he's worth like 40 million, 50 million maybe. I don't know if that's it. If, like, say we offered 120 million, I think Isak is probably worth 200 million in Newcastle's eyes. So yeah. Sten, thank you for the sub on YouTube. Personally, no, Ekitike, not Prem proven and too high of a price tag. Yeah, the Ekitike one is a bit odd. Like, 100 million they're asking for him, and he's had his first season with Frankfurt. He scored 15 goals. Like, so you're paying absolute mad money. Do you know what I mean? I don't think that's the right move. It seems very like a Nunez move, where we paid to say 65 odd million. And that was off the back of him having one good season. It doesn't seem like a smart thing to do in my eyes. Did you say 7 o'clock? Have LFC got a deal now with Sky Sports News or something? Because Wirtz announcement dropped exactly the same time as transfer show started on TV. Big publicity. You know what? That actually could be true. I'd say some of them. Not that they have a deal, but I'd say that obviously they might have the information and let them know when it happens. But I think Liverpool dropped the Frimpong deal on Friday at 5 o'clock. Do you know what I mean? So I'm hoping now it'll be like 5 o'clock that we could get an announcement for Kerkez. And if we do, we'll throw it up and we can watch the video on X together. But yeah, hopefully in the next kind of 20 minutes or so, but it'll be interesting to see. But with Isak, yeah, I think, listen, I did a video there the other day on him and his heat map in terms of what he could add to Liverpool. I think the one thing with Liverpool is, say you compare, say, Isak to Haaland, for example. Like, Isak's going to be someone who will go across the entire front line, has that fluidity to fit into Liverpool's team. I think with Haaland, like, say, someone like Haaland, who obviously Man City prefer, he's someone who's just going to stay in between the width of the goalpost. You know what I mean? So I don't think, I just think Isak just fits everything that we need. And it does kind of take you from, like, we're kind of favourites to win the league now because we've won it. We've signed 3 really good players. We've obviously lost a few as well in Kelleher, Trent, and Nat Phillips. But yeah, I just think signing Isak just takes you from should win the league to very hard not to win the league. Simon says, if Brighton want Harvey for 40 million, we should give 45 cash and get Baleba. Yeah, Baleba could be a good option. I think the DM role is an interesting one because you haven't really heard too much about it. Like in the transfer window, do you know what I mean? Like obviously Zubamendi was talked about last summer, and then Gravenberch comes in, does really well, but it just doesn't seem like we're in the market for someone like that. I think we're probably looking at maybe more market opportunities if they come up, but it doesn't seem like someone that we're in the market for. Do you know what I mean? A few people I know are 80-20 on us getting Isak. That's a madness. 80-20, no way. I would say at the minute I'm probably like 70-30 or 30-70 that we will get him. So like 70-30 we won't. But yeah, I'm more leaning toward it's not going to happen at the minute. Just like I think we need to sell Elliot, Nunez, and then we might start to push for it. But I think Isak hasn't said that he's staying at Newcastle yet, and he hasn't said that he's leaving. So it'll be interesting to see if we do start to make more moves. If we do that, what will happen to Stefan? Yeah, Stefan Bajetic. I think there was talk about him potentially going out on loan today, but I think he might be someone that might get a preseason, and then Slot will maybe assess how he's going on, because he didn't have the best time last year. I know he did well in Spain when he went back, but he was at Leipzig with Pep Linders, and he didn't have the best time there. I know Pep Linders struggled, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Bajetic does get an opportunity this year. Grav was tired from January. Our midfield too easy to play against. So I think the one thing with too easy to play against, it's very hard to say we were too easy to play against, especially in the second half of the season. Like Liverpool had the league wrapped up from about what? So when did we play Man City? Probably like March, April. So we weren't. It wasn't that we were too easy to play against. We weren't pushing ourselves in the same way we were in the first half of the season. But I think Gravenberch definitely did run out of a little bit of energy coming towards the end, and I do think we should strengthen there if we can. But I think striker is probably the best option, because goals win you games. It's as simple as that. Goals win you games. So I'd rather us go for a striker first. But 67 people in on YouTube. I don't know how many. I can't even see how many we have in on X. Let me see if I can see. Can you see how many people are live on X? I don't know. Let me know if you can see actually how many people are live on X. But let me see. He told his agent he wants Liverpool, is the rumor, hence all the Newcastle journals coming out in defense, all mouthpieces, the club getting briefed. 5.2k in on Twitter. Oh, nice. Do you think we should keep Owen Beck? I do. See, the thing is, like, with youngsters right now, in this team, there's very few opportunities for them to play. And I know that sounds bad, but I think Liverpool have gone out, they've strengthened, like, you're bringing in a 21-year-old in Kerkez, you're bringing in a 22-year-old in Wirtz. There's a lot of competition for places. So, yeah, I don't see... I'd rather Beck maybe went out on loan. I wouldn't be selling them. I'd rather do it that way. Jade, how are you? 5.2k in on X. You're very welcome, lads. You're very welcome. 65 over on YouTube. Lads, throw in some comments in on YouTube as well. You're all very welcome. 69 now watching on YouTube. Let me know how you're all doing. What are your thoughts on Isak as well? Let me know your things. 5.3k now. See, I think thing is different. I think X is like, it basically pushes them up based on views, if that makes sense. Yeah. We're talking about strikers. I sense we can turn Dan's into an elite striker. Yeah, Dan's could potentially get a few more opportunities if Nunez goes. I think Jota is one I'm a bit unsure of. I still think he has a bit to add to the team, but for whatever reason, it's just he can't stay fit. Do you know what I mean? It's the same old thing that happens every single year. You don't know if you're going to get a fully fit Jota, and yeah, you can't rely on him. And I think there was a bit of frustration. I remember there was paper talk of there was frustration from Slot during the season because he wasn't able to keep him fit. And I think like the value that he does add to the squad when he's fully fit, like you remember that he came on, he scored against Fulham to get us back to 2-2, which was really important at the time when we were down to 10 men. And then he scored the winner against Everton. I was at that game and thought he played well then. And he definitely does have something to add to the squad. He just can't stay fit enough. And that's like the big issue, I would think, for us right now. But I'm not fond on Ekatike's finishing. Yeah, Ekatike is, whatever. I think he could be a good player, but one, we probably all haven't seen enough of him. And like, he's still very raw. You know what I mean? He's 22 years old, 15 goals last season. I don't think 100 million would be well spent in that area. Do you know what I mean? Especially if you go out and get Isak for, say, 150. If you're Isak and Liverpool are coming for you, you got the chance to be number 9 at Anfield, and you're guaranteed major honours, more than you are at Newcastle, with the chance of playing with Salah, Wirtz, Verge, Alisson, Mac Diaz. Yeah, I know. I understand that point, but like, you need to remember, like, you can't just talk about, like, because you can't just say Liverpool are the bigger and better club, because there'll be a lot of things that come into it. Like, he might be happy in Newcastle. He might feel like he wants to carry out what he's done so far. Like, he's helped them win their first trophy in 70 odd years. Could he maybe go on and help them do something mad in the Champions League? Like, I think they're a really good Champions League team. Like, they're very hard to beat in one-off games. And cup competitions, like we've seen that last season against Arsenal. They beat us, obviously. I think in Champions League they might have a good go of it. And they were unlucky when they're in their first year back in it, when they got knocked out by PSG in, like, say, the last minute. So he might want to stay and do something with them. Do you know what I mean? North Red, how are you, brother? I don't think we get Isak. I know we are uncharacteristically spending, but that's just too much of a pipe dream. Yeah, if I did the math there on my own Twitter channel. I put it up. If we go out and spend all the money that we have, we go out and get Guehi for 50 and Isak for 150. You're talking about nearly 500. Or sorry, you're talking about nearly 400 million pounds spent in one window. So would Liverpool go out and do that? I don't think we've ever seen them do that. I don't even know what's the most they've ever spent in a window. Someone ChatGPT that. What's the most Liverpool have ever spent in one window? I'm trying to think. Maybe like 200 million, 250 million, maybe at a push. But yeah. The only concern of Isak's injuries. Yeah, so like with Isak's injuries, I've seen this come up a lot. So I wouldn't be too worried about it. He's had one bad injury in his time at Newcastle. And last season, he played 34 games. The season before that, he played 31 in the league. So, like, if you're getting 31, 34 games out of him, Liverpool obviously be in Champions League, Cup games. Like, you're talking about, say, 40 games a season. And, like, Liverpool will obviously want to rotate their team and stuff. So, you will get a break. So, I wouldn't be too stressed about the injury record right now. Going for overpriced Ekatike is not something I want to see happen. Yeah, he has a good season, but 100 million is way too much. Yeah, I 100% Mag agree. But I suppose all this stuff with Ekatike and Isak, it all kind of comes down to Nunez. And if Liverpool sell Nunez, because I think that's the only way we actually are going to say, okay, we need to go out and reinforce in the forward areas. So you can see there, Napoli and Liverpool have had direct contact today. Discussions of a detail for the Darwin Núñez deal. Negotiations still at early stages, but Napoli had a green light from Nunez revealed in recent days, and the deal depends on financial requests, and that's coming from Fabrizio Romano. So Liverpool obviously have to strike a deal with Nunez, and I think the problem that they're going to have is Liverpool's valuation is 70 million. I don't think Liverpool are going to get that, and Napoli apparently want around 50 to 55. So, yeah, I think if you got met in the middle, maybe somewhere 55 to 60 million, would you take that for Nunez? Absolutely. Considering we spent 65 million on him to get him in the first place, obviously without add-ons, like 60 million would be an absolute daylight robbery. And I'm not even sure if Napoli would pay that, to be honest. Like 50 to 55 million for Nunez. I know he's only 25. I still think he could come good somewhere, but obviously for everything that he's done so far, it's just mad money. I just think the inflated prices of the market today, and that's why he's going to go. I'm going to go on to Liverpool's website. I want to see if they're going to announce Kerkez. Nothing at the minute. All right, it's 5 o'clock now. La, la, na, 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 na. Show us if they have a pin tweet, maybe. No, nothing yet. Nothing yet, as of yet. Nunez, Jota leave, sign Isak, keep Dan's as backup / Gakpo, Diaz, yeah. I think that would be a good option. I think Dan's, obviously, he's coming back off the back of a big injury, so I don't know if that's something that might be in the back of like the management's head. So it'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to see, obviously, Johnny Heitinga is gone as well. Apparently, he was big in the dressing room last year, so like what way that will work might be something to think about as well. We get a 55 million and put a buyback clause in there and wait 2 years later he explodes. It's a win-win situation. Who's that for, Rich? Is that for yeah, who's that for? I don't know who that's for. Hopefully he stays and loans him out for a season or two for more experience. Then he will be a good backup. But if this is all down to Slot, realistically, though, if you ask me, if Slot leaves, Dan's leave, it's a stupid decision. I rate Dan's, yeah. I think Dan's definitely he has something about him that you could see could maybe work out, but yeah, I think he just needs a bit more game time. Do you know what I mean? I don't like if Liverpool go out and sign Isak and they have Jota and they have Nunez and they have Diaz and they have Gakpo. Is he going to get opportunities? Like Wirtz could play maybe as a false nine as well. He's not going to get enough game time. And I think players at that age, they need to be playing week in, week out to get a feel for things. But yeah, it's just the difficulties of young players coming through. Do you know what I mean? Especially in a forward position, because they need to come in and hit the ground running straight away. It's not like say when Trent was coming through at right back, you don't need him scoring goals every week. Do you know what I mean? You just need him to come in and not do anything stupid, and you can kind of develop yourself and you can go on and you can grow a little bit and you can understand what you need to do to get better. It's hard being a forward and coming into a team that a Premier League winning team. Do you know what I mean? But some interesting news as well that came out today. This is from David Ornstein. So there was a short conversation between De Bruyne's camp and Liverpool. In the end, Liverpool already signed Wirtz, which suggests that De Bruyne would not necessarily have been a regular starter. A squad role would not have appealed to the Belgian. So yeah, Liverpool did have initial conversations with Kevin De Bruyne. It would have been very interesting to see him in a Liverpool shirt. I know him and Van Dijk are very close, and he's obviously very, very fond of Liverpool. That was his team when he was growing up. He had said that before. And yeah, boyhood Liverpool fan. So it would have been interesting if he had a came, but I think Liverpool, obviously, the signings that they make, like even there was obviously the talk of Van Dijk and Salah, and Liverpool not wanting to pay them such big salaries because of their age. And I think the fact that you would have had De Bruyne coming into that as well, and I just don't think they would have been realistically doing that. I think that's why they're happy to go out and spend the money on Wirtz, because you're going to get him for another 10 years, whereas De Bruyne you might only get for say a year or two. So yeah, it probably made more sense to obviously go for Wirtz in the end. I'm sorry, just reading some of the comments. When do you reckon Kerkez will be announced? I'm keeping an eye on the Liverpool channels, but nothing as of yet. I thought it might have been at 5 o'clock, but they're probably going to wait now till 6, maybe 6 or 7. Yeah, same as Wirtz. Yeah, 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock is probably most likely. It was 7 o'clock for Wirtz, wasn't it? But yeah, I think someone said earlier on that it was because of the transfer show. So yeah, it's an S&N deal. I'm telling you. Flow with the conspiracy theories. And then the last thing I actually wanted to just include was, if you haven't actually gone on and watched the Frimpong interview he did with Sky Sports, he also did one with Cop TV. I'd recommend going on and do it because it's very good. How he communicates, how he talks, why he's at Liverpool. I know he obviously did some stuff at Liverpool when he initially signed, but just seeing him in like just a normal space and talking about it, it was very good. He says a lot of good things, and yeah, it seems like he's looking forward to getting started. So it is interesting. Who is your preferred realistic option for number 9 position? Yeah, we were just talking about that there. I think, do you know who my actual preferred option would be? Is Julian Alvarez. I think he is the perfect signing for Liverpool. I just think what he offered Man City, he was probably not underappreciated, but like they obviously had Haaland, so like that was obviously going to be their go-to guy. But they felt in the end they had to try and fit him into the team. I think he's got like 25 goal contributions in that season, even though he's playing second fiddle. So yeah, I think Alvarez would be my first choice, but then Isak would be closely second. So yeah, Alex, how are you, brother? What's up? Robbie says, I hope they announce Kerkez with Sobosai together in the photo with the drill. Yeah, if they announce them together, that would be ideal. That would be very good. But no, there's nothing at the minute that's come up that I can see. But yeah, what are we thinking then in terms of, like, realistically, what should the goals be for Liverpool next season? Like, I think you'd be hard pressed not to say, like, Premier League at least. Champions League, a double. Would that be something that we should be aiming for? Obviously, who was the last team to do the domestic double? I know Man City won a treble, but was it United in 2009? Or not a domestic double, the Premier League and Champions League double. I think it might have been United in 2009. But yeah, I think this team, it's just like the quality they're gonna have. I think it'll be interesting because with Wirtz coming into the team, I think Trent leaving, that's like, people don't understand. Like, Trent leaving is going to be a big gap to fill, and Frimpong and Trent are not very, like, they're not similar in terms of how they obviously play. So you're losing that creativity of Trent from deep, and you're obviously hoping that Wirtz is going to be that new creative engine. So it'd be interesting to see how we kind of manage that, and if Wirtz can hit the ground running. Because if he does, then that's obviously good news. Like, Liverpool have the toughest start of any team in the first 10 games. So yeah, I think how we fit all these new players in, because you need to remember, right? Say if Guehi comes in, right, and Liverpool maybe have issues with Konate's contract situation. You have Alisson, then you have Frimpong, Guehi, Van Dijk, and Kerkez. That's your new back line, which is a complete reshape other than Alisson and Van Dijk. Then you go into midfield, Gravenberch, McAllister, Wirtz. Then up front you have Salah, Gakpo, Diaz, and Isak. Like, it's a lot of changes in one window. That's the one thing I'm probably just a little bit wary of, that you have to be careful in terms of how you do it. But yeah, Liverpool AMP, how are you, brother? The vibes in the squad are good. Retain the Prem and go far in the Champions League. Not too bothered about the Cups and Community Shield. The Community Shield, I'm actually going to the Community Shield game. And I actually, you know what? I think that would be good because we'll get to see Kerkez, we'll get to see Frimpong, we'll get to see Wirtz. Obviously, it doesn't matter in terms of like if you win it or not, but you obviously want to win it on the day when you're there. And it'll be good to obviously see them all playing together for a first time. So yeah, it should be good. But Julian lacks size though. Ekitike or an Isak would be a great fit. Even Walter Maid. I think that might be. Is that a incorrect spelling? I don't know who you're talking about. Ekitike or an Isak would be a great fit. Yeah, but like Alvarez, Liverpool, like, you know what I mean? We don't really play with a naturally massive striker. It's not something that we usually do. So I wouldn't be too stressed if like a striker was small enough. Like, what's Isak? I think Isak is 6'4". I know he's big, but I don't think it's like necessarily something that you have to have when you're in a Liverpool team. Yes, but Wirtz is younger. He has more time to go to other clubs, whereas Laturo wouldn't. Yeah, I think I would like. The thing is, Martinez. Martinez is weird because he obviously gets bigged up in like Inter Milan and stuff, and sometimes when I watch him, he just be terrible. Like he's really, really poor. And then sometimes when I watch him, like say for Argentina, he just be okay. But yeah, I don't know. He scored a few good goals this year in the Champions League, but I don't think of him as like a world class striker. Not really. I wouldn't put him in like Isak, Haaland, Alvarez, like Mbappe kind of level. Do you know what I mean? I think they're all like a bit ahead of him. Is a Marmadashvili joining the 1st of July? He is indeed. Bound to be a chair in Kerkez vid. We obsessed with the chairs and media vids revealing players. Yeah, Liverpool are mad for it for some reason. I'm not sure why. But yeah, there'll definitely be a chair. But what do you think of the Isak situation? Do you think we can get him right now? No, I don't think now we're gonna spend the money on him. I think it depends on who we sell. Elliott's obviously talk of him going, and then Guehi as well if we bring him in. But like Elliott to go, Nunez to go, Kwanzaa is gone, Kelleher is gone. I don't think there's anyone else really to sell. Like there's obviously talk of maybe one of Diaz or Gakpo, which I think would be a bad move. I'd rather keep the two of them. But if you get offered like something mad for Diaz, then yeah, I'd cash in on Diaz, to be honest. For like say, and now I'm saying like 80, 90 million from like say Barcelona or something. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Have a few more people coming in on YouTube here now. You're all very welcome to the stream, lads. Would you rather be in City's position with the rest of our position because we get to rest now, but they'll get rest later? Good question. No, I think the Club World Cup will take it out of teams. I think we'll start to see that they might have a little bit of a slower start in the Premier League, because they might be coming back later, but it takes them a little bit of a while to get up to speed. Like Liverpool are going to be able to start their preseason in the way that they want. So I'd rather be. Listen, if they go on and win it, they obviously get the revenue from that. And you probably would say I'd rather be in their position then. But as of right now, like it's better to have like the Premier League. Nobody's like the Club World Cup is good to win because the revenue that it's in it right now and everything else. But at the end of the day, it matters if you win Premier League, Champions League. Do you know what I mean? That's what the main focus will be on. Do you think Guehi would accept being back up to Konate and Virgil van Dijk? See, that's one thing as well. So I've seen Guehi saying he wouldn't accept to be a backup. But think about it. Liverpool are going to play about 50 games this season. And Konate's injury record is not the best. Kwanzaa's obviously gone. Gomez's injury record is not the best. I still think even if Guehi came in and he wasn't first choice straight away, he could definitely, with the quality that he has, force himself into being first choice. So I don't think... if I was him, I'd be like, you know what, I fancy myself to go in and be a first team regular. I think I could maybe move Konate out of the way, but that's something that he has to obviously make a decision on himself. But I definitely think he has the ability to go in and do it. I think right now Konate is a little bit better, but I think when players leave, like say a club to come to a bigger club, then sometimes they maybe take a step in their development in the right way because they're playing with better players. They have maybe better facilities, and they've better training. So you never know. Do you know what I mean? He could go on and become a really good player. He's only just turned 25 as well, so he has a lot to improve on. Thoughts on signing a striker on loan this season and going for Isak next season? Duran from Saudi, maybe. Yeah, I haven't actually heard too many people say that, to be honest. Yeah, you could look at getting someone on loan. I think Ollie Watkins as well could be a good option. He's obviously fallen out a little bit of favour at Villa. And I think he's 30 now, so I don't think they're going to get mad money from him. Maybe if they were open to a loan, but I don't think maybe they would. But yeah, a loan option. I wouldn't be against a loan option, to be fair. If Liverpool don't want to go out and spend big this summer any more than they already have. McCarthy said LFC can spend 400 million without breaking PSR and says he think we will go for Isak. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if we do. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, Liverpool right now, we probably spent about 280. No, is it 280? About 250, baby. Yeah, about 250, I think. So if we go out and spend that money, or 200, and if we go out and bring in Guehi and Isak, but yeah, 400 million, I think, is around what we can spend this year without breaking PSR, which is just mad. And if we were, whatever about if you can do it, but actually going out and doing it is different. Do you know what I mean? We spend currently 185 million. Nunez to go for 55 to 60. Elliott for 40. Kwanzaa, we should have around 100 million to 150 million and no more for Isak. We've spent currently 185 million. Nunez to go with 55, 60, and 40 million. Kwanzaa should have around 100 million, 150 million, and no more for Isak. Yeah, well, you say 100 to 150 million, but it depends how much like we have in the bank on PSO as well, which I don't know at the minute. So yeah. Do you think Isak's son will go to Liverpool? No. I don't think he's going to go this window. I'm going to be completely honest. Where will Wirtz play? We can't bench any of our midfielders. Yeah, this is probably a good question, actually. Can a team that has just won the Premier League, can we actually go out and bench, say, Szoboszlai? Did you see the bit with Szoboszlai and Salah saying that Wirtz is going to take number 8. I think realistically, when you're playing for a big club, there's going to be a lot of competition for places. And I think Szoboszlai, I don't think he's been the type of player that we thought we were buying. Like, I thought we were buying someone that would maybe impact the game a lot further going forward. He's more someone of, I don't want to put him in, like, I think he's better quality on the ball than Henderson, but like that type of player where he's just really good at covering a lot of ground and does a lot of dirty work for the team. But that's because he hasn't, it's just his quality sometimes lets him down on the ball. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes he doesn't make the right decisions. I don't know whether that comes from poor judgment or tired from all the work that he does do. But yeah, I think like some of his best bits from when he was in the Bundesliga he was unbelievable, some of the goals that he was scoring. But we haven't seen that too much at Liverpool, other than maybe like the first kind of 10 games of his debut season at the club. Do you know what I mean? To be fair, Guehi might play more than Konate lol if he signs. Yeah, that is a good like a point. Do you know what I mean? Do you think Isak will fit in with Liverpool? Yeah, I think good players fit in at good teams. So I think definitely he'll fit in at Liverpool. Watkins is already 30. Yeah, I'm almost sure Watkins is 30. Watkins age. Yeah, 29, 30 this year. So he's 30 on the 30th of December. So there you go. Do you think Guehi will fit in? Yeah, I think Guehi will 100% fit in. Similar, I think, like you have to letting Kwanzaa go for 40 million. If Liverpool go out and say maybe get Guehi for say 40 million, right? I think they want them for 30. Crystal Palace want 50. Let's just say they meet in the middle and say 40. Like, you're just after replacing Kwanzaa with Guehi, who's captain of Crystal Palace right now and just won the FA Cup with them. So mad. 55 to 60 million for Nunez would be great for us. Yeah, 55 to 60 million that would be unbelievable, to be fair. Wirtz should play false 9. See, the thing is with Wirtz playing false 9, I don't like that idea. Reason being is you're after signing one of the best 10s in the world. Why would you play him out of position? Do you know what I mean? That's why I would just rather play him as a 10. I thought you said you was 70-30 going to get Isak. No, I meant 70-30 that we wouldn't. So yes, 30-70 that we will, if that makes sense. 30% sure. I'm 70% that we won't get him. 30% sure that we will. Feelings about the 2 Peps at City and one of our coaching staff from this season to City. Yeah, there has been a little bit made about that, but to be honest, like, listen, I know Pep Linders, he was great at Liverpool, obviously really good, but I think with the amount of changes happening in Liverpool right now, is the team going to be that much similar? He might have some tricks when it comes to how we play, but at the end of the day, like we didn't lose to Man City last year. We beat them twice. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I think we're fine. I feel like Sabo has a great shot on him. He just doesn't take enough shots. Yeah, I agree. I think, but sometimes when he does take shots, they have been poor. That's what I mean. Like, if you look at him in the Bundesliga, some of his efforts were insane. Do you know what I mean? Some of his shots were unbelievable, even some of his dribbles. But I don't know whether he can do that in the Premier League or he hasn't been able to. He hasn't been able to adapt to it. But he definitely does add a lot to the team. I'm not saying he doesn't, but I think Wirtz will likely be coming after his position because I don't think you can drop McAllister and but maybe you could. Maybe McAllister's the one that you dropped. You know what I mean? But I think he's just unbelievable. I think he's so underrated in how much he adds to the team. You know what I mean? Think of how he helped Argentina win a World Cup. What he's had to do to come into Liverpool, helping them win the Premier League. He's just such a good cog, and he works so hard off the ball, but he has so much quality on it. Yeah, it is mad. Subside work rate versus City was something else. 11.8 kilometers run. Yeah, he's an absolute workhorse, to be fair. Omar, how are you, brother? We need 2 centre backs and a striker. I'd say just get Duran on loan for the season and next year go in for a striker. Yeah, I think I've seen there's talk that we're going to keep Gomez because we appreciate his versatility. So that makes sense. Frimpong, Bradley, I think we'll keep one of Tsimikas and Robertson. One of them will go, one of them will stay, and then obviously we have Kerkez coming in. And then yeah, if we got Guehi, then you had Van Dijk, Konate, and Gomez. 4 centre backs. Would that be enough? Would we want one more? Maybe. Yeah. We'll see. Lewis Steele Bomba on Isak. What is it? What did he say? Your questions answered. What did he say? Someone put it in the chat. I can't find it. I'd actually prefer Soboslai to play a false 9 instead of Wirtz. Ooh, yeah, potentially. You could see. Yeah, I think Slot might experiment with different things. Even I did it when I did a video there for Transfer News Live on what day was it? Monday? No, yeah, Monday. No, Sunday. I said that we could potentially look at a back 3. So you could go Guehi, Van Dijk, Konate, Frimpong, Kerkez, bombing on, McAllister, Gravenberch, Wirtz, Salah, Isak, something like that. Or you could, I think that's actually 12 players to be fair. But you get what I mean. If we could play 3 at the back, which would be interesting. 4-2-4 prob, Soboslai and Wirtz, bottom front like us versus City. Cathy, how are you? Think Isak will be sorely tempted after all. Is 26, and what's the chances he will have a chance to win as much as he possibly could with LFC? Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be temptation there. He's going to have to weigh up his options, but I think it's going to come down to whether Newcastle want to sell him in the end. You know what I mean? I know players can't force out moves, but I don't feel like Isak is that type of player. I think if he says to them that he wants to go and they're like, okay, but we want to get like say 150 to 200 million for you, then I don't think he's going to be like, okay, well if you can't negotiate the price, then I'm not playing, that type of thing. Omar says, I'm good. Thank you, brother. Yeah, I am Irish. I'm from Dublin. I'm not too worried about where Wirtz will play or how he will play because apparently Slot had a Zoom meeting with Wirtz where he explained everything to him, and Wirtz was very impressed by him. Yeah, like I think that was one of the things that when it came out that Wirtz had chosen Liverpool, that he had a call with Slot, and Slot presented the project to him, and that's what made him feel like Liverpool was the right option for him. I think he's probably looking at Man City. Guardiola is likely going to leave in the kind of next year or 2. I think that would have been in the back of his mind. Liverpool are obviously off the back of winning the Premier League. I think Man City are in a bit of transition. Like, apparently the way Bayern Munich presented the opportunity to him wasn't something that he thought was viable. So, yeah, I think Slot has that pull, man. Slot has that pull. Away the lads. Jordy, we're after your man, mate. We are after your man. How are you, brother? Isak ain't worth 150 million. We can get 2 centre backs and a striker for that much. Nah, I think Isak is worth that. If you think about like the players that are out in the market right now, like you're looking at Grealish 100 million, Rice 110, Casado 115, Wirtz 100 million. Like Isak is a proven goal scorer in the Premier League. He's 26 years of age. I think 150 million is definitely fair. Definitely fair. Jordy saying worth 200 million. All right, so Anfield sector, you said have something up. Let me have a look. But let me know actually. Just want me. So we're going to be doing lives every week, okay? On the channel. So we'll be on Anything Liverpool and on Anything Liverpool Twitter and on my YouTube channel. So if you aren't following on the Twitter, go give it a follow. If you aren't subscribed on the YouTube, go give it a sub. And make sure to drop a like as well if you're on YouTube, because it does help with the algorithm. We currently have, let me just double check. We currently have 67 people watching, 30 likes. Let's try and get up to 50 before the end of the stream. We'll be chatting here for a good while. I'm hoping we get an announcement for Kerkez in the next 5 minutes. I'm hoping they do it sometime soon. But yeah, if you want me to, I'm looking at trying to get more people involved, so we'll have more people on the stream. We can chat, hear your thoughts, your comments, everything like that. So yeah, we'll be doing watch-alongs for next season. So I do have some exciting news, but I can't share yet. But with the news, I don't think I'll be able to do the streams. I might be able to do like post-match stuff. So like I'll jump on a post-match and be able to get your thoughts. But yeah, I don't think I'll be able to do the full watch-alongs in the same way. And to be fair, like, do you know what? I think people actually prefer more watching the match rather than like obviously watching me watch the match. But yeah, I think some post-match stuff and getting your thoughts on it. We can chat about the game, get annoyed about it, and do it that way. I think that's probably the way to go. But I have some exciting news coming out, which will come out in the next few weeks, I assume. I'm just waiting some things to be sorted and signed. And then I'll be able to share it, which is, but I probably won't be able to do the watch-alongs next season, but we might do some other stuff. CJ, how are you, brother? Enjoying the streams. I appreciate them, man. You're very, very welcome. These are all very welcome in. Whether you're Newcastle fans and you're willing to sell Isak to Liverpool, or you're Liverpool fans and you're wanting to buy him, these are all very welcome, lads. I think the Football Terrorists might be giving us a redirect soon, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check. Yeah, they're 90 minutes in, so they might actually give us a redirect potentially. Look at who he has to play with at NFC. I don't think he would prefer to play with. Don't you think he would prefer to play with Salah? Listen, I like to be honest. I like, the thing is, people think obviously because Liverpool, right, a bigger club. I know some people will disagree with that, but Liverpool are a bigger club in the grand scheme of things. But that doesn't always come into it. Do you know what I mean? Some players, they play for loyalty. I think Newcastle as a club has that kind of fan base where the players really get into it. Do you know what I mean? You look at like the likes of, I know Dan Burns a Geordie, but like you look at Guimaraes, Tonali seems to be getting really involved. Gordon is obviously is really well enjoyed up there. I think Liverpool went in for him. That might be something that tilts his head because obviously he's Scouse. But yeah, they have, their players are loved and the players reciprocate the same way with the fans. Liverpool do have something similar, but like you know yourself, it's very hard to pull someone away from that. So yeah, we'll see. You never walk alone. Thank you for the sub, mate. I appreciate it. Serge, how are you, brother? I'm doing well. How are you, man? Stop buying players. Liverpool aren't finished yet, mate. Liverpool aren't finished yet. How many signings do you think we'll make by the end of the window? Also, Sophia won't be too happy with Elliot leaving. Yeah, she definitely won't be. a very foot person. But how many signs did we make? So we've made 3 so far. Well, 4 if you include Marmadashvili. I think we're going to sign. So we've signed. Let's just say we've signed 4. I think we're going to sign 6. I think we'll sign 2 more players before the end of the window. Yeah, I think a centre back is definitely an option, and then I think we're weighing up options in the forward areas. So yeah, we'll see. 70 years. Wade, how are you, mate? What do you think of the Gordlings? He's been replaced in the starting 11 by Newcastle for Barnes. Also, what do you think about Owen Beck as backup to Kerkez if Tsimikas and Robbo go? I'd rather keep us on the Owen Beck thing. I think Liverpool are going to keep one of Robertson or Tsimikas. I think Tsimikas said he's happy to stay. Robertson's obviously talking about go, but I don't think Beck will be, especially with Kerkez being so young. I don't think that would be the right thing to do. But with Gordon, the Gordon links. Yeah, I think when he first had a really good season, he had a really good season when he first came in. Last season, he was good in patches, maybe not as consistent. I remember I did a video on it saying that I'd rather keep Diaz over Gordon, and I got crucified for it. But I was proven right because Diaz had a very good season last year. But I think Gordon, if he went to a Liverpool team, he would be very good in a Liverpool team. I think he does have that pace, but I think, you know, when you think about Diaz and Gakpo, they're really good on the ball in terms of with teams they play against low blocks. Newcastle sometimes will play against teams where they have to hit on the counter attack, and Gordon with his pace is really good. So yeah, it depends. Depends on if he can come in and what Liverpool maybe think, but you're talking 100 million for him as well. Do you know what I mean? Does slot start with the wing backs considering you bought Frimpong? No, I think he'll go right back, left back, 2 centre backs. I don't think he'll go wing back straight away. You never know. Bradley as well could start because he's obviously has the experience. He knows what he's about. He knows what the Premier League is about. So I think Frimpong is obviously maybe odds on to start, but you never know what way he could start at the start of the season. I would agree Forest definitely bigger than Newcastle, but that doesn't mean we existed before the Carabao Cup win. Yeah, Forest with the European Cups, that's why they're bigger. You know what I mean? Omar says, if Isak is worth 150 million as an injury-prone player, which is outrageous, then a fit Jota is just 100 million. 100 million minimum for Jota. Lads, there's a bit of a myth going around about Isak that he's injured all the time. He played 34 games last year and 31 games the season before. The year before that, he played 22. He had a bad injury that year, but like he's been fit most of the time. Do you know what I mean? Like Newcastle wouldn't be where they are without him. Do you know what I mean? They wouldn't be. They've gotten Champions League twice because of him. We can't play centre backs. We don't have enough centre backs. We can't play wing backs. We don't have enough centre backs. Yeah, I think we don't have enough centre backs right now. I think that's something we're going to have to obviously resolve. But if we get in 1 or 2 more, you never know. We could go for it. I think it definitely will be an option that we could potentially make. But yeah, we'll see, I suppose. Isak, he's scoring you 20 goals a season. Yeah, what did he get last year? 23 Premier League goals in 34 games. Yeah, like he's just a proven goal scorer in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? He's 26. Do you think he'll leave? Do you think he'll stay or do you think he'll go? What's your percentage on it? How close do you think he'll leave, and how close do you think he'll go? Or how close do you think he'll stay? Sorry. Steele is saying that Isak wants to move. It's over. Wait, did I go on? I went on the answer there. So, okay, so this is some of the stuff from Lewis Steele. Put the link in the chat there. Lewis Steele on Andy Robertson. Atletico Madrid remain confident of tempting him to join But the latest is pretty much the same as last week. Robertson has not made his mind up yet. He's enjoying a short break at the moment and lots to ponder. Maybe by the end of the week, we will have more clarity. So that's what Robertson. What's the Isak news? I can't see it. Oh, here we go. What I was told last week. So this is Lewis Steele, 24 minutes ago. What I was told last week was if Isak could move to Liverpool, he would. Easier said than done, of course. So, is Isak to Liverpool probable? No. But is it possible? Yes. Oh, sorry. Do you want me to get a shot on my screen? So, yeah. What I was told. So this is obviously. I think he's promoting something. One of his where he's talking, but I just can't even fucking see it. But yeah, I was told last week if Isak could move to Liverpool, he would. He would. Easier said than done, of course. So Isak to Liverpool is probable, no, but if possible, yes. So yeah, that's kind of more or less it at the minute. But sorry, I'm just moving this. Blah, blah, blah. He will stay the season, play in UEFA Champions League, and probably win another cup. Jay, you win one bleeding Carabao Cup, and sometimes the confidence is over the moon. Yeah, I think I to be honest, I said Champions League. I think you would give Champions League a good go because I think he has that type of mentality, to go out and like say win games in those tight cup games. Nathan Collins is underrated. Go sign him and Murillo from Forest. Yeah, I think Nathan Collins is definitely someone I'd be looking at if I was Liverpool. Very good. Omar, thank you for the sub, brother. I appreciate it. Serge, just subbed. Great channel and content. Appreciate it, lads. If you are over, Michelle, thank you for that. Hit the likes up. If you're over on YouTube, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. It does help out the channel. And yeah, we should be on. The goal is to get to 10K by the end of the year. And to be honest, I think we're going to hit that potentially before the start of the season, which is just mental with the way we're going. Last month, I had 2 million views and 2.5K subs on YouTube. Mental stuff. Omar, see you later, brother. Kathy, hit the likes up. It's free and helps this channel grow. Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate it. Scott, how are you? How's things? How are you, mate? Good to see you. Everything is good in Spain. Everything is good in Spain. It is very warm right now, 33 degrees. How do you think Salah will do in terms of GA next year with Wirtz? He may have just as good a season as this year. It'll be interesting, I think, with Salah. I think he's obviously still going on penalties. I think Liverpool will probably still play to his strengths. But I think you need to remember with Wirtz playing further up, a lot, like say, stuff might start to go through him a little more. Whereas when Trent was playing, he would have been the creative pass to Salah, and Salah would have been the creative engine in the forward areas. So I don't know if Wirtz might take it away a little bit from Salah, and it might be a little bit more spread out. That could be something that happens. But yeah, I still think you're looking at like you're almost guaranteed 30 GA a year with Salah. Do you know what I mean? In the team, that's just how he is. Isak said he would move to Liverpool. Lol, read it back again and you'll hear it. I had to read it 3 times. Good man, Scott. Good to hear from you, brother. Naldini left us in 2021. Nat Phillips, streets won't forget. And who remembers when he Cruyff turned in the San Siro? Yeah, unbelievable on his day. Helped us out in some of our worst periods under Klopp. But yeah, I hope he goes off and has a good career at West Brom. Wish him all the best. Worst delivery is KDB type stuff. Chances created are going to be through the roof. Yeah, I think that's the one thing. It'll be interesting to see with like how he kind of adapts to the Premier League. I think there's obviously been a lot made with German players coming to the Premier League. Can they adapt in the same way? But I still think you've had good players come, the likes of Haaland, KDB, Aubameyang. Like players have come to the Premier League and done well, but some haven't as well. Think of Werner, Havertz. Who else has come and been poor? But there is it's a risk at any transfer, especially when someone who's 22 for big money. I may be crazy, but Wirtz is not here to share GA. He is here to add more to this attack. Yeah, he definitely will add more to the attack, 100%. But like, how many goals did we get last year? Like we in all competitions, we were definitely over 100. And Salah was what 50 something, 56 alone. So it's going to be hard to add on top of that. Do you know what I mean? It's just when you have good players, they create more, or they share it out between themselves. Salmon from YouTube, how are you, brother? Palace are the most forgettable club. Sorry to all the Palace fans watching this. I hardly watch their game, so I don't know how Guehi plays. No, I think Palace, they need to remember, like, one thing, if you're a young fan growing up, you shouldn't dismiss any smaller clubs because they have loyal fan bases. You think, well, Liverpool, obviously, any of the bigger clubs, you have fans from all over the world, but a lot of the fans, like Crystal Palace, a lot of them are local, and they contribute a lot to their communities. So, yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about watching if you haven't watched Guehi, but he definitely is a top quality player. In fairness, last time we had a true number 10, it was Coutinho. His combo with Salah was unbelievable. When Salah made a 5-a-side, he had Coutinho in it. Yeah, I think, do you know what? I think McAllister last year, I know he wasn't a kind of number 10 in essence, but he did play a little bit like that. Do you know what I mean? And I just think Wirtz is kind of, in terms of creativity, a little bit ahead of him. But yeah, we're going to have so many creative options. Do you know what I mean? We're going to have so many different areas, so many different ways we can attack, so we can change things up. So yeah, I think it does bode well for us. It does bode well. Um, 55 people watching. We're on 40 likes over on YouTube. Let's try and get it up to 50 if we can. That would be ideal. I'll stay on for another 20 minutes or so. Hopefully we get a Kerkez announcement in the meantime. Remember, Wirtz is pretty damn good at scoring himself. Yeah, exactly, Cathy. Salmon, I'm doing well. I am doing well. I would tell Jota ASAP, get a good young lad in to replace him. Yeah, I think Jota's 28, 29. If you can get like maybe 40 million from him, maybe. But yeah, his injury record is just not the best. I think he definitely is valuable when he's fit, but he's just never fit, which is the issue. A6, how are you, brother? You're an Inter fan. You're welcome to the channel. Don't worry. If you watch Footy Judge Mo, I've already given him enough slack, so I won't give it to you. I wish Marmouche was still available. We missed out on something big there. Yeah, there was obviously talk of Liverpool going in for him, but he seems to have settled in really well at Man City. They definitely have a player there. It'll be interesting to see with Man City, like how they kind of fit all these new players in as well. I think Marmouche, Cherky, Reinders, like Haaland's coming back from a bit of an injury hit end of the season last year. Like Grealish is kind of phased out. Doku, Savinho, like there's a lot of question marks over Man City. Bernardo Silva's not as what he once was. Gundogan is not as he once was. Rodri coming back from an ACL injury. Like, there's a lot of changes. Do you know what I mean? Newcastle apparently bid 45 million for Elanga. What do you think about that? Worth it? You know what? I actually really rate Elanga. And I think 45 million in today's market is probably a good option. You know what I mean? You think of some players that maybe would go for that as well. Now, like you think, like I'd rather Elanga over Elliott. That's how much I rate Elanga. Data science with Sule. Thank you for the sub on YouTube, mate. Appreciate it. I've no concern about Slot's ruthless side. If he feels someone can go there, he will be no sentimentality. What's the YouTube app? I'll put the YouTube app in there now. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if you can see that on YouTube or on X. Let me see. Here, I'll link my that's my my X account, and you can find a link to my YouTube in there. That's YouTube as well, but it doesn't matter. Whichever people are feeling more comfortable on. But yeah, trying to get YouTube up to 10K, so that's the kind of goal. But obviously, anti-Liverpool, there's over 350,000 people on the anti-Liverpool page. So whether you're chatting on either side, it doesn't matter. Serge, am I planning to give out mods? You know what? I actually probably am. Eventually. But right now, I think we're all right. I don't think we need them right now. But I'll keep you in mind, Serge. We have a good few people that are coming out of the stream. So more for kind of hyping up the stream as well. Do you know what I mean? I'm happy to give out mods to do that. Slot wants his team to be finished article, so he has no time for projects, says Cathy. Yeah. Listen, I think the one thing with Slot is you think of the players this season that have improved, right? Gravenberch, Gakpo, who else? There's more at the top of my head. I think Diaz has been good this year as well. Like he's improved a lot of players, and I think he doesn't mind if he brings in like young players and works with them. And I think that's Liverpool's transfer policy. But at the end of the day, you want players that are coming in that have good quality, and I think that's what we're getting right now. If Jota and Nunez both go, do you think Dan's would be given a chance as a backup? He was given that start against PSV, and he was even given some minutes in a Prem match against Ipswich. Do I think Dan's will get the opportunity? No, I don't. To be honest, I don't think Dan's will get the opportunities this year for whatever reason. I don't know. I think I'd rather see him go out on loan. He did have a big injury last year, so yeah, I'd rather him go out on loan this season. And if we bring in someone else, then fair enough. But yeah, I think he needs more minutes. Deirdre, how are you? Big up, absolutely hit a like on your stream. Watching and listening, doing a 6.2 miles on the exercise bike. Love it, Deirdre. You're very welcome. I hope you're doing well. Are you Scouse? I'm not Scouse. I'm Irish. You know those who control the chat and time out people. Yeah, that's mods. Slot was inspired by PSG. I think next season will play like them, or at least an inspiration to them. Yeah, PSG in the second half of last season were really good. But remember, they took them time. And like Luis Enrique has been there. I think that was his third season with them. So it took him time to obviously become what he wants. I think the goal will be to win a Champions League with Liverpool. That would be on Slot's mind. And I think with the way they're building up and building the team, this is a team that can go out and compete for a few years. So, yeah, the future is looking bright, to be honest. Is Guehi definitely happening? So it's not 100% yet. Flo, thank you for the follow. Found the YouTube, the LFC corner. Thank you very much, mate. You're very welcome to the channel. I just followed you on Dan's need a loan, Atlanta or Parma, says Scott. Yeah, I could maybe like even I think an Italian league, German league. The thing is, going to the Championship, I think the gap between Championship now and the Premier League is too big. So even if he goes there and does well, he comes back to Liverpool, it's still a lot to ask to be able to go in. I think going to the Bundesliga seems to be the best option for a lot of young players. I think that's why maybe that's why Kwanzaa had it in the back of his mind why he wanted to go there. So yeah, it'll be interesting if he does maybe make the move, but we'll see. I suppose we have to wait and see. I only got 8 followers, so you can drop him back. I will indeed after the stream. We have signed fullbacks with similar profiles to Nuno, Mendes, and Hakimi, and we bought Wirtz. Yeah, could you imagine? I know Kerkez obviously coming in, but like Nuno Mendes this season has just been absolutely ridiculous. Because imagine Liverpool went out and bought him. But in fairness, I think PSG were actually touting him for a good while. And yeah, like even some people saying Ballon d'Or shouts because of how good he's been. But yeah, he's ridiculously good. Like to lock up Yamal, Salah, and Saka is just, do you know what I mean? It's crazy work. PSG got very lucky this season. Even if they played some great football, they knocked us out on pens, Villa and Arsenal. Missed many chances against them, and Inter's morale wasn't great due to Inzaghi. Maybe, but I think like even Liverpool won in the Stade de France, and we were terrible that night. Like we got lucky. Do you know what I mean? It was an Alisson masterclass is the reason why we didn't lose that game. And then Elliott obviously scored the winner in the end. But yeah, I think they definitely like in the group stages they were nowhere near the best team, but then they obviously just clicked into gear when they needed to, and that's it. That's like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter now. It's the same when you're like the group stage of the Champions League and before it changed format. It just matters what happens in the knockout games. So I mean, like I think Liverpool have like and teams before them have lost games in the knockout in the group stage and then went on to win the Champions League. So it doesn't matter what you do in the group stages now. It just matters what you do in the knockouts. And PSG were the best team in the knockouts. Like I thought they were comfortably better, not comfortably better than Liverpool. I thought we played well in Anfield. We maybe could have won it, but like at the Stade de France, we were killed. We really need to trust our youth, like Klopp did in the League Cup final against Chelsea. Yeah, we need to remember, Serge, that was one game, and he was forced to do that. It wasn't something that he did regularly. So there's trust in your youth, and then there's obviously you need experience to win things. I remember we had links to Nuno Mendes back in 2020. Yeah, it would have been mental if we had got him. Fofana and Guehi will be our 2 latest signings, in my opinion. Yeah, Fofana, I don't know. I think Hato is something that's being talked about as well as a potential option. But I think Guehi looks most likely in terms of value because he's 1 year left in his contract. I think PSG might win the Club World Cup. If we had beaten them on pens, we would have won the champs, I think. Yeah, I think whoever beats PSG obviously goes on to win the Champions League. I think we would have beaten. I think our mentality and like the fact that we had the league wrapped up, we would have beaten Aston Villa, would have beaten Arsenal, and then yeah, that Milan team we would have killed. So yeah. Inzaghi sabotaged the final by negotiating with Al Hilal. He is the reason they got battered 5-0. The football story, other than the first leg against Liverpool, Villa and Arsenal dominated them in the second leg. No, I thought in the first leg against Arsenal when they won 1-0, I thought they were pretty comfortable in that game. Now Arsenal still had chances, but like they went what they were 3-0 up on aggregate then against Arsenal overall. Do you know what it was, right? Against Liverpool, and I think Liverpool were the most likely team to knock them out because I think they were probably the closest to them. But Villa, obviously, they came back into it, but they were so far ahead. I think they just got lax and just like took their foot off the gas, similar to the way Liverpool did when they knew they had the League One. After they beat Spurs, so just take your foot off the gas a little bit, and I think they just did that in those games. Like they were 3-0 up on aggregate against Arsenal, and I think they were 4-1 or 5-1 up against. No, what were they? 4-1 or 5-1 up against Villa, and yeah, they just got lazy then. Do you like my bio? I was using Casey. I adopted it for Wirtz. I can't see it on my end, but I'll have a look after. The LSC Corner, thank you for the sub on YouTube, mate. PSG were so good in the knockout. The final was something else, mate. Yeah, they were just ridiculous. You know what? I was out and I was like, right, I'm gonna go home and watch the final. And then as I was going to watch it, it was 2-0, and I was like, I was like, they're just absolutely annihilating them. But yeah, it is what it is, I suppose. Siggy, thank you for following TikTok, mate. You sound like the guy that sang a Salah do 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 do. Don't say that, Daryl. No, that the person that sang that was an Irish lad. We would have easily won in the UEFA Champions League if we won that shootout. Villa and Arsenal would have been easy, and we would have destroyed Inter in the final. No offense, A6057. Yeah, we probably would have, to be fair. But we're coming up on time, lads. And we didn't get the Kerkez announcement that I was hoping for. I was hoping for a Kerkez announcement. But lads, if you enjoyed the live, we'll be here every Tuesday at 4:30 UK time. I'm going to be getting a few more guests involved and stuff. I'm hopefully going to have 1 or 2 next week. So we'll be chatting with them. So it won't just be me that you're listening to, but we'll listen to your comments and stuff as well. And it's good to get other people involved, you know. But yeah, if you enjoyed the stream, make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the YouTube. Trying to get to 7K by the end of next week, by the end of the month. That would be ideal. And then, yeah, on to 10K from there. But yeah, I'll be chatting to you all in the next one. I'm going to have a few long form videos coming out, hopefully next week. There's some big announcement coming, some stuff happening with some big brands that I'm looking forward to sharing with you. But I can't tell you that. I'm teasing you. But yeah, I'm hopefully going to announce that soon. And I'll keep you in the loop with that. And yeah, if you have any questions, just leave a comment on the YouTubes. And yeah, I'll try to get back to as many people as I can. But I shall chat to you all very, very soon. See you all in the next one. Cheers, guys.